Here's what happened. So I received back in September. Yes, Becky, Krug is the one who is accused of killing his wife in the garage after pretending to be her ex boyfriend for months. So, in effect, he stalked her, allegedly stalked her, while pretending to be an ex boyfriend of like 20 years ago for months and just made the last months of her life absolutely miserable. And the truth is, she was about to leave him. They were going to get divorced. She was most likely going to get custody of the children. She was so paranoid with the stalking that she had her concealed carry. She carried a gun with her at all times. And in fact, when her body was found in her own garage, she had her firearm on her person. It's a crazy case with a lot of twists and turns. So back to the reason why I removed those previous videos. It is not because I did anything wrong, but I did in fact receive a request from Christine Krug's family. Christine Krug obviously being the victim in the case. So back in September, I received an email and it said, "Dear Ms. Knight, my name is redacted, and I am Christine Krug's first cousin. As a former domestic violence prosecutor, I want to thank you for bringing issues of domestic violence more fully into the public's consciousness. I appreciate your attention to detail and your awareness of the sensitive issues that accompany family violence. I'm reaching out to you on behalf of the family to request that you please remove the full names of Christine's family members from your published timeline, the published PC affidavit, and from your study sessions posted on YouTube. We kindly request that you respect the family's privacy in this way, both with materials currently published about the case and in any future content that you create. As an alternative, perhaps you can simply refer to their relationships, i.e., Christine's mother, Christine's stepmother, Christine's brother, etc. Thank you for your respectful treatment of the family to date. We hope you can honor this important request." And thank you, Scout, for putting in the domestic violence hotline. So I received this letter and I responded immediately and I said, "No problem. No problem. I will, I will go back and I will redact even the probable cause affidavit." Now, you guys know that that's not something that I necessarily had to do. I'm not doing anything wrong by releasing open public records that I have requested through either a Colorado Open Records Act or a FOIA request. So I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong. But listen, the victim's family reached out to me directly and had said, "Hey, can you do this?" Absolutely. I mean, most of you guys, I think, know me well enough to know, hands down, I'm going to do that. Did I put a lot of work into the study sessions? So on and so forth. Sure, who cares? I mean, really, who cares? We can do it over with the sensitivity. Um, Anyhow, so I went ahead and pulled those down, those study sessions that we did, and we're gonna do another one. And not only that, but I decided after receiving this email and really giving it a lot of thought, from this point forward, I'm going to do that in every case. And I hope that maybe this catches on. Maybe this becomes a new way to just cover cases because as you know, YouTube can be, pardon my language, but YouTube can be a fucking cesspool. And I don't want to add to that. You guys also know how many mental health breaks I've taken because I am sensitive to all of the issues in all of the cases, and sometimes I get overwhelmed. And so I think that now listen, I'm not willing necessarily to honor YouTube's request, to not say words like, murder or homicide or guns or assault or whatever. I'm going to say those words because I'm covering homicide cases. For me to use the word pew pew makes me feel like an idiot. And I'm not a big fan of that. Okay. I'm just not a big fan of that. Um, However, censorship as it becomes part of sensitivity to the victim's family, hands down, no problem. I will censor myself. And then in November, so that communication was in September. And then in November, I received a letter from the Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center that threatened me with jail time and fines and told me that this firm, Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center, was going to, well, I'll just read it. Dear Miss Knight, our office represents several members of the victim's family in Broomfield County 2023 CR 581, People v. Daniel Krug, which you cover on your website, Crime Curious Colorado Case Files, and associated YouTube channel. I understand that one of our clients has spoken with you previously about their wishes for your coverage of the case to be respectful of their privacy and of their loved one's memory. We are aware of your blog post on September 29th, 2024, screenshot below, wherein you note the upcoming motions hearing and jury trial and advertise your intent to live stream the entirety of those hearings on your YouTube channel. And then there's a screenshot of my old website, which of course now is entirely different. That's not why, just coincidence. Anyway, live streaming the court proceedings would expressly violate one or more court orders. Colorado Supreme Court Chief Justice's Directive 23-02 prohibits any recording or reproduction of proceedings from the court's live stream. Such a violation could subject you to contempt of court, including a fine or jail sentence. Additionally, recording and or broadcasting the proceedings from the courtroom in person without express permission from the court would violate the 17th Judicial District's order of the Chief Judge 10-02, which could also subject you to contempt proceedings. We are currently unaware of any expanded media requests filed by you that would entitle you to record or broadcast any hearings in this case. Our clients appreciate your attention to their concerns in your prior conversation with them. The privacy and dignity of Christine and her family members during this traumatic process is of utmost importance to them, and a live broadcast of these hearings would be very upsetting to them. Our clients respectfully request that you confirm you will not record or broadcast any court appearances in this case and remove the related advertisement from your website. We will also be notifying the court of your intent to live stream these court proceedings and of this communication to you. Sincerely, Justin Summers, Esquire. And I assume that they're listening right now, and I did respond to this letter. This letter hit me sideways because I had such amazing communication with the victim's cousin. So my knee-jerk reaction was to be offended. I was offended at the threat of jail time, contempt proceedings, or the fact that this letter and a screenshot of my website is now going to go into the public record on this case. I didn't like the idea of that at all. But the truth is, in that blog post, I did say, and I'll read it, that they're not wrong in their concern. They're just wrong about me, I guess is what I mean to say. And it does say 2 final motions hearings will be held before trial, January 24th, 2025 and January 31st, 2025. And I do say both hearings and the entire trial will be live streamed on the Crime Curious YouTube channel. And that was my intention. I also had filed an expanded media request through the court. I still to date have not received a response. There's also a possibility that maybe I did it wrong because I have not yet live streamed a trial. I've covered trials. I've worked with Crime Talk, Scott Reich, and his producer Frank, and they've given me permission to use any and all of their trial streams. And so I reached out to Frank, and Frank assured me that if the trial can be streamed, Crime Talk will be streaming the trial, and we can do our study sessions off of their stream. And that's great. That's fine for me. No part of this is me being greedy or salacious or anything of the sort. I'm going to make a conscious effort to refer to them by their connection to those two people in the case because as you know, I'm a big fan of open public records. I think it's important as a Colorado voter. I feel like it's incredibly important. But that doesn't mean that I need to have any part in encouraging people to do deep dives into, the backgrounds of family members that have not, YouTube can be pretty gross. And so over here, we're going to make a conscious effort to be not gross. Just to wrap up this particular topic, while I was, my knee jerk reaction was to be offended. Like, I would never. I know that, you know that. They don't know that. And the truth is they've been through hell. Their family member was murdered by someone who was supposed to love and care for her. And the games that ensued afterwards and all of the trickery and trying to frame someone else. He did things like it wasn't a GoFundMe, it was one of the other ones, to save the Krug family. And this is the person who's now in jail for her murder. um there it's a tough case, and I just want the victim's family to know that I do care and we will be careful. And if the trial can be streamed, it will be streamed and it will be studied. And even if it can't be streamed, there will be a WebEx as far as I know. Now, if they shut it down so that there's not even WebEx coverage of the trial, I don't personally think that's right. If they do, then I'll be there in person, but I won't be there as some sort of, when I attended the trial against Letitia Stout, I did not go out of my way to speak to anyone involved. I wasn't trying to get interviews. I mean, like, I'm not an idiot. And I really am more sensitive than people think. And I've learned a lot. And the website is back up and running. So, together we're gonna go from here with all of the sensitivity and open source intelligence. So I want to apologize to the family for that one sentence on my website that said I was going to live stream. I jumped the gun a bit because I had filed an expanded media coverage request. And I just want them to know that I would not do anything that I don't have permission to do. And I'm not saying this because I'm afraid of getting in trouble with the judge or being accused of contempt of court or any of those things, because I know, I know for a fact I haven't actually done anything wrong, but I understand your concern. And thank you for reaching out to me initially, because now I'm going to change the way I cover every case because I think it's right, not because I have to, but because I think it's right.